Hey everybody, Coach Toolshed here, and today's video is not going to be giving you a detailed breakdown of every single thing that happened in Bethesda's Fallout 76 Patch 11 update and all the different issues that have arisen and the things that have been broken and the things that have not been broken. And I'm not going to go to Reddit and read you every single list of grievances that Fallout 76 players have and then see you guys next time. That is not the purpose of today's video. I'm sure you guys saw many videos of that type over the last few days, but I do want to discuss something that does involve Bethesda and Fallout 76, but I want to use it as something, sort of a lens to look through for the rest of the industry. It's not going to be specifically about Fallout 76, although that is going to be primarily what we're discussing. I want you guys to understand that I'm looking at this as sort of a more universal picture for the gaming landscape as a whole. I'm just using Bethesda and Fallout 76 as sort of a template to look through and see what we're talking about here. And specifically what we're talking about is what we as the public, as gamers, are willing to put up with from companies and what the media allows these companies to get away with. And of course, we're going to discuss briefly the industry themselves, the developers, the publishers. We already know when it comes to issues, that's the first thing people turn to. They want to look at the developers and the publishers and try to place all of the blame for the industry's woes just on those people. And I know that I've made videos before saying you can't blame the gamers, but in this case, I want to look specifically not at your general gamer, not at a fan of a game, someone who just really loves and enjoys a game. I want to look specifically at people who, let's face it, there's a term for them, they're called fanboys. People who simply will not admit when anything at all has been done wrong by both a developer or a publisher, or that a game patch is just totally fine, there's nothing at all wrong with the situation. And that is what I want to talk about. The people who cannot look rationally at something when something is laid out right in front of their face with cold, hard facts and still cannot admit that something is wrong with the picture. That's what I want to discuss today. And of course, the media is complicit in all of this because when these sorts of issues rise, they do nothing at all to push back against the industry and stand for the consumers, which is what the media is supposed to do. It's supposed to look out for the public against other interests. But the gaming media, of course, is some of the most corrupt form of media you're going to find anywhere. It's most in bed with these companies. But what's the string of events I want to talk about here? What's this specific issue I want to talk about? Well, I'm sure many of you who saw some of these videos that have been made over the last few days may have seen splashy thumbnails talking about Bethesda adds more pay-to-win mechanics to the game. Oh! And because of those videos and because of headlines like that talking about pay-to-win, the real issue at hand has gone completely ignored. Totally ignored. And it has instead devolved into, once again, players that are fans of the game arguing with people that aren't fans of the game over the definition of what pay to win means. And for the purposes of this video, I don't care at all what anyone's definition of pay to win is. Everyone has their own definition of it. I have my own line that I know what I think is pay to win, and everyone wants to define it differently. Doesn't matter for the purposes of this video, because what I want to talk about is specifically what I can prove, what is factual, and what everyone else wants to seem to ignore and just talk about pay to win. And that is, during the marketing phase for Fallout 76, 4 months, Pete Hines, Todd Howard, Pete's marketing team, Pete on his Twitter account, the Bethesda Twitter account, the Fallout 76 Twitter account, Bethesda.net official press releases, every single article that you could find discussing this topic said the same thing. The topic of microtransactions in the Atomic Shop. Every single instance that you can find said the same thing about this game. That they were not going to be selling anything but cosmetic-only items in the shop. Every single article, every single interviewer, they all got the same answer. No gameplay advantages, cosmetic only. Pete would go out of his way to say stuff like, oh, well, there's other people that do things the wrong way, but we're going to stay on the right side of the line. This is what we were told over and over and over again. And then, earlier this year, people who don't really cover the game forgot that the repair kits weren't the first thing that happened. Everyone wanted to focus on the repair kits. It actually started before that. They had the Untouchables outfit, which were cosmetic items, but did offer a gameplay advantage. And when People talked about this when I brought this up here. People said, Coach, you're exaggerating. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. These are our cosmetic items. So they're still cosmetic only items. And I said, well, what about the gameplay advantage? They said, oh, it's minimal. You're making a big deal out of nothing. And I said, okay. No one wants to see this for what is actually happening. This is just the first step of them pushing further into the monetization of the game and going against what they said. But okay, you guys don't want to see it yet. Okay, that's fine. Then they introduced the repair kits. And I made another video, and lots of other people made another videos talking about how this is a pay-to-win mechanic. I mean, it's a clear gameplay advantage that you can use. It's a PvP game. All the game modes have some form of PvP, and this is an item you can use to fix your armor if you're in combat with somebody. That is an advantage, no matter how small it is. Technically, that seems like it's pay-to-win, and the conversation devolved into a full pay-to-win argument and ignored what was actually going on. And now we're seeing the same thing with this new item, these scrap kits. Which, first off, let's look at what these scrap kits are and how ridiculous this is. Bethesda is attempting to monetize an item that will allow you to break down the junk in your backpack and send it back to your base. They're literally attempting to sell you the ability to put stuff into your stash. Now, of course, you can just go back to your base and break it down and do it that way. That's true. But if you've ever played Fallout 76, you know you can't go too long at all before filling up what you can carry on you. Your inventory is going to fill up real quick. So this is definitely an item that some people will use. In fact, you might say, Coach, who's ever going to buy that? Why does this matter? I already saw many people over the last few days discussing, oh, this will be real handy. I could use this. Now, sure, it's cheap. You can buy a repair kit for 50 cents. Sure. That's the literal definition of nickel and diming. In case you were wondering, it's 5 dimes. That's a literal nickel and diming right there. A 50-cent item for convenience, to save time. Whatever term these companies want to come up with, I'm sure at some point EA is going to come up with a real great term to describe these items, these time savers, because EA seems to have a specific knack for coming up with the most meme-worthy, ridiculous terminology like pride and accomplishment, surprise mechanics. So I can't wait to hear what their specific term is going to be for these speed up mechanics, these time savers. I can't wait to see what term they finally land on. But regardless, throw all this away. Throw out what the item is. Throw out the fact that it might be pay to win, it might not be pay to win. I don't care. What I want to discuss is something that cannot be argued. Is that this is not at all a cosmetic item. Just like the repair kits were not cosmetic items. These items do offer gameplay advantages, no matter how small they might be. It's there. You cannot argue this point. Now, I did, on a video yesterday, I saw someone getting into an argument with a lot of people, actually, because this person's stance seemed to be, it almost seemed like they don't understand what the word cosmetic actually means, and it seems like they think that it's just a video game term that got coined for microtransactions. No, the term cosmetic actually means, it refers to the appearance of something, changing the appearance of something. That cosmetic specifically regards your appearance. But this person's argument was, well, these definitely aren't pay to win, so anything that's not pay to win is a cosmetic item, so therefore these are cosmetic items, so Pete wasn't lying. Now, this is truly delusional, but this is the level of argumentation that you'll find. This is how deluded some fanboys can get. No, these aren't cosmetic items, no matter how you want to do mental backflips to try to pretend that they are. They're absolutely not cosmetic. Repair kits don't affect the way you look. Scrap kits don't affect the way you look. They just don't. And now, you can say that these are minor advantages. These aren't big deals. They're pretty cheap. All of that doesn't matter. It misses the overall point, is that it was a lie that was told to us repeatedly. I can't even tell you how many times I saw this repeated. And then all the fans repeated it on Reddit and in the forums. When people were saying, I'm worried about this atomic shop, they said, you guys are idiots. They said it's going to be cosmetic only. Can't you guys read? Don't you guys even listen to what they say? They said cosmetic only. Yeah. We all saw it. No one can deny it. Anyone who wants to go back and try to rewrite history now and deny what they said, good luck to you. Everyone knows what was said. Everyone saw the articles that were written. Every time it said cosmetic only, no gameplay advantages. Period. And this is the problem, is that everyone just ignores it and they move on to start arguing about stuff that doesn't matter, like what their personal definition of pay to win is. It doesn't matter. My problem is that Bethesda looked right into our faces in many different forums, and told us one thing, and then within just a few months have gone back on that once, twice, 3 times now. And it's only going to continue as long as people keep making excuses for them and not just accepting them, but defending them and arguing about it and putting up a shield of defense around these practices. People who do that, I have to ask you, do you have even an ounce of self-respect for yourself? Or your gamer brethren as consumers, as a consumer group? Have a little bit of self-respect for yourself as a consumer. Don't allow these people to look us in the face and lie for the direct purpose of siphoning money out of our wallets. Now, I did videos last week talking about Sean Murray and No Man's Sky, but one thing I can say about that is at least he didn't lie about any monetization. You can say what you want, but those are just gameplay features. That's bad enough. But when it comes directly to affecting our wallets, when it comes to siphoning money from us, literally nickel and diming us, to the point where we're going to be spending more money than we ever actually realize, we have got to call it out for what it is. I don't care if you love the game. I don't care if this is your favorite game of all time. I'd have to question your taste in gaming, but I don't care if you love this game and want to play it until play thousands of hours. I really don't care. But I can't sit back and watch people make excuses for Bethesda and try to just wipe this under the rug when we get lied to again and again and again. It doesn't matter how small the lies are, because all they do is proceed to keep pushing forward. And people have been saying this for the better part of a decade. If you go back and look at games from not even 10 years ago, none of this existed. And the argument is, oh, they need these things to survive. Okay, be upfront about it. Stop lying about it. And to the media, we just had E3 last month. Pete Hines was there. Todd Howard was there. Jeff Gardner was there. And the hardest hitting question we got was someone asked Jeff Gardner, so what would you say to people who call repair kits pay to win? And then they let Bethesda just sit there and give their own press statement talking about how he literally said he would fight people who said that they were pay to win. Again, stop focusing on the pay to win mechanics and that aspect, because people can argue about that till they're blue in the face. Focus on the fact that we were lied to. I saw no one at E3, none of these media types, look at Pete Hines and say, Pete, what about this quote? Pete, how about this tweet? Pete, what about this press statement? How about these articles that we wrote for you as a promotional piece and you turned us into liars? But of course the media just sits back and is complicit with this, because they can't rock the boat. They don't want to lose their access. We can't lose our access. We're going to write another hit piece about gamers. They're so evil. No, they just let these people just skate on by. They get more. We have an exclusive interview with Pete Hines where we ask him absolutely nothing of substance. And we're going to break it up into 4 different pieces so every day of the week we get clicks. And we're never once going to ask him why and how he is such a massive liar. But that's fine. We can't change the media. They're their own closed-off group. They're in bed with these companies. They need the access. They need the ad revenue. They need all that just to survive. They're not going to change. The developers and publishers aren't going to change. They're going to keep pushing the truth, bending the truth, trying to use weasel words and change terminology, which Bethesda is one of the front runners for changing terminology. Those aren't paid mods. Those are just mods that you pay for. Yeah, that sort of thing. The industry is doing it more and more. We saw it with Randy Pitchford trying to change the terminology. We see it with EA trying to change the terminology. And Bethesda's right along there with them, just trying to change the meaning of words. Ignore all of it. Concentrate solely on when we are told outright, provable, direct lies to our faces during the marketing phase, and then months or weeks later, they turn around and change it. And again, this is not just a Bethesda issue. When are Call of Duty players going to stop forking over money for that game every year when they keep jamming in random pay-to-win loot box weapons? I mean, how many examples do we have to go through? There's so many examples. I'm sure every single one of you can come up with a dozen right off the top of your head. When we're told one thing and something else happens, we have to stop defending it. Us players are the only ones who can do anything by stop defending them, stop buying these things. All the blame doesn't go to the publisher and developer. All the blame doesn't go to the journalists who don't do their job ever. Some of it has to go onto the players who willfully support this stuff, who deny facts that are right in front of their face. We have to stop doing it. This goes to every single person that will sit there for any company, I don't care who it is, and try to rewrite history and act like what people said don't matter as long as they're marketing the game because, hey, they gotta make money. No, they can make money and not be dishonest in the process. Stop propping them up, stop making excuses for them, stop apologizing for them, and stop getting into multi-day arguments with people who just want to point that out that someone has lied to us. Have some self-respect. You won't accept someone who lied to you repeatedly in your face all the time that you knew in real life, so don't accept it out of someone that wants your money as well. It's like if you have a significant other who's constantly like, hey, can I borrow $5 for gas? Hey, I forgot my wallet. Or it's not even a significant other. It could be anyone. You could have a friend who's always coming up to you. Hey, can I borrow $10 today? Yeah, I'll get you back. And the game companies do the same thing. Hey, can we have a little bit of money now? We'll get you back. The next update is going to be awesome. We're really excited to bring it to you. I promise we're going to pay you back. Could I have a few more bucks? Could I have a couple bucks? Just a little bit to get by. I need it. And then I promise you, we'll pay you back with better content later. And people keep going for it and keep defending it. It's the exact behavior you would see from someone in an abusive relationship. Wake up, people. Wake up. Stop defending it when people lie to you. I don't care how much you like the game. That's it from me, Coach Toolshed. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Please subscribe. If you want to stay in tune with the channel, head forward. And as always, keep it turned to 11. Come on!